Hello to class 10th, and class 10th we are doing lesson number 8, labor, right? So in the last class what we discussed was the definition of labor. Any mental or physical work which is done by a person, and in return he is expecting some sort of a reward, is known as what is known as labor in economics. Right now, then we did the features of labor, and today we'll be doing the differences between land and labor. We'll be doing what? The distinction between land and labor. So as a factor of production, the distinction is must, and it is very important for your exam as well. So in exam they may ask you, at times they ask the difference between two factors of production. So we are going to do this today. So the first difference, here we are going to write about land, and here we'll read about labor, right? It's not very difficult, it's very easy. You will easily understand this. The first one, the first difference, what it says is land is a passive factor of production. So land is a passive factor of production, right? Land is passive factor of production. What does this mean? I told you earlier also, factor of production. FOP, factor of production. So land is a passive factor of production. What does it mean? It means that the land cannot work on its own. You need to do something on the land. You need to plow it, then you need to sow seeds on it, you need to irrigate it, you need to water it. So when you will do certain things on land, then only that is going to give some sort of production. So on its own, land is not going to work. If you just leave land on its own, you leave the land fallow, what will happen? The weeds, the grass, unnecessary plants will grow on it, and you will not have any sort of any production. So a human being is basically needed, or machineries are basically needed on land. So the things which need some other factor of production to work on it in order to give some sort of production are known as passive factor of production. Whereas labor is what? Labor is a active factor of production. Active factor of production. Labor is a active factor of production. What does it mean? It means that labor can work on its own. You need to give some instruction to labor, and they work on their own because they have the skills, they have the common sense, they know how to work, they know how to comply with the given instructions. So they work on their own. If you just give them the instructions, if you just give him the guidelines, if the entrepreneur just tell him how to operate the machinery, how much production he is supposed to do, what are the things he's going to do, so for the next time onwards he's going to do himself the things. So the labor is an active factor of production. He works on his own. Right? This is the first difference, a very important difference. Second difference is land is not mobile, labor is mobile. Land is not mobile, right? And labor is mobile. So what does this mean? This means that land cannot move from one place to another. You cannot take land or carry land or shift land from one place to another because it is fixed at one place. Whereas it is not with labor. Labor can be moved from one place to another. That's why migration takes place. Why does migration takes place? I told you about migration also. Migration takes place when the people from the rural area or the labor from the rural area shift to the urban area. So what exactly that is? That is mobility. So labor has the mobility. They shift from one place to another place in order to get much better facilities, much better job, income, other things, right? This is the second very important difference. Next is the land has a different identity from its owner. Land has a different identity. Okay, so what does land has? Land has a different identity from its owner. The land owner need not to present at the site when the land is being used as a factor of production. So land has its own identity. If the owner of the land is somewhere else, he is not supposed to carry his land along with him. So land has a different identity. If the owner is somewhere else, land will be somewhere else. The land has its own identity. Whereas what about labor? Labor cannot be separated from laborer. Labor cannot be separated from laborer. The laborer has to present himself for using his land power. Labor cannot labor cannot be separated from labor, right? So we cannot separate a labor from a laborer, right? So labor, that is hard work. Hard work is inside the labor himself. If he is working somewhere, then labor, the body of the labor needs to move with it. So the identity here is similar. So labor has the laborer has the labor. So whenever the laborer moves, the laborer also moves with it. Whereas it is not in the case of land. The land, if the owner of the land is moving somewhere, it doesn't mean that he is going to carry his land along with him, because you can't carry your land with you. The owner cannot carry that. The fourth difference is that the landowner can accumulate any amount of land. Landowner can accumulate any amount of land. Now what does this mean? This means that land does not get waste if it is not used the same day. If the land is not used the same day, it does not get waste. Even if you don't use it for a year, if you don't use for 6 months, it will not get waste, it will not lose its fertility. So what happens is this, that if the land is not being used for some period of time, it does not lose its fertility, it does not get waste. But in the case of labor, it's not like this. Even if the labor does not work for a single day, the whole day of the labor get what? Perished, right? So the labor has to work every day. The labor power cannot be accumulated. It is wasted if not used. Okay? Labor power get wasted if it is not used. So if a labor doesn't work for a day, what happens? His whole day, the labor of whole day get what? Wasted. So this is a very, very important difference. Next is the land as a factor of production does not possess an element of judgment because it is a passive factor of production. Okay? Land as a factor of production does not possess an element of judgment. So no element of judgment is there in land. There is no element of judgment is there in the case of land. But in the case of factor of production, labor is active factor of production, there is a case of judgment. That means if something wrong is happening with the labor, he can raise voice for it. So element of judgment is present here. Element of judgment is present in the case of labor, right? 6 is the land total, and the total quantity of land remains fixed. So land cannot be increased. लैंड को आप इंक्रीज नहीं कर सकते हो, क्योंकि लैंड की जो लैंड इज अ फ्री गिफ्ट ऑफ नेचर, वो आपको एक बार मिल गया है तो बस गॉड ने दे दिया है उतना. यू कैन नॉट इंक्रीज. इवन you do lot of things, you can pay for it, but you can't increase the quantity of land that has already been given to the human from God. But in the case of this, the labor, the supply of labor can increase, right? But in the case of labor, it is what elastic. You can increase the supply of labor whenever wanted. So the supply of labor is fixed for every short period, but with the growth of it, with the long period, the growth of labor can due to the growth labor, the supply of labor can increase. So in this case, the land cannot increase, the supply of land remains fixed, whereas the supply of labor, what is elastic. The land is the ultimate source of all factors of production. 7, land is ultimate source of all factors of production, right? Land is the ultimate source of all factor of production. जितने भी फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है, चाहे वो लेबर है, कैपिटल है, एंटरप्रेन्योर है, वो लैंड के बिना सर्वाइव नहीं कर सकते. सो दिस इज द बेस फॉर ऑल द फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. Whereas in the case of labor is what? Labor is a active factor of production, active factor, and even the labor cannot survive without land. It is an active factor of production. It puts its efforts on land to produce goods. So what exactly labor is doing? Labor is putting the efforts on land to survive or to get production. So this is passive factor of production, but this is the base for all other factors of production. Whereas in the case of labor, labor is active factor of production. It works on land, and without the presence of land, labor, the identity of labor is what? Nothing. The identity of labor is going to be nothing. So this is basically what the difference, and this difference is very, very important. So next topic is labor, an important factor of production. They are saying that labor is important factor of production. Yeah, of course, the labor is very important factors of production. Now, why we are saying that labor is important factor of production? So if the question comes, what is labor? Why labor is a important factor of production? So you can say the labor is important factor of production because it is active factor of production. So let's see. Of course, labor is a important factor of production. Now it depends why we are talking about it. So importantly, why we are talking about, so why it is so vital, because it is active factor of production. Okay? Without labor, your land cannot work, your capital cannot work if labor is not working. It has the skills are there, he knows how to handle things, how to organize things. Okay? Then these factor becomes productive only with the cooperation of labor. So the other factors of production, labor is basically what? Labor is basically the base for other factors of production. So labor is basically the base for other factors of production, right? Without labor you cannot think of anything else. A nation having plenty of rich land but no labor force cannot work. So very important thing that is given in your book, that no survival of other factors of production, other factors of production possible without labor. So without labor, we cannot even imagine how the other factors of production are going to survive, because if labor is not there, your land cannot work. If a nation has a lot of land but no labor, no point. We can train a labor. If the labor is unskilled or semi-skilled, we can though train him. But without labor, the using of the proper use of other factors of production is impossible. So we can say that that's why we are saying, or that's why it is justified that labor is a very, very important factor of production. Same entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is, who's an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person who organizes these all factors of production, and he goes on for the productive activities. So entrepreneur basically is a producer. So producer, what he does, he organizes capital, he organizes labor, he organizes land, and take work out of these two in a proper ratio, in a particular ratio. We combine these three and just get a work out of it. So we can say that entrepreneur is also a special kind of labor. Right? So if you talk about entrepreneur, sometimes they ask you about a question that why entrepreneur is a special kind of labor. So the answer is going to be that due to special abilities, experiences, the entrepreneur is able to take decision. He got training, or maybe he is having some God-gifted talent of doing business. So he all possesses ability to direct the workers in respect of plans made by him, so that the production units may earn maximum profit. So entrepreneur is a very special kind of labor, because he knows that how to get work out of the other factors of production, and what are the skills, what are the techniques, what are the ways of allocating the resources, he knows properly. So that's why it is also said that entrepreneur is also a special kind of labor. Though entrepreneur is a factor of production, but before a factor of production, he is a labor, and he is working for the productive activities, for the economic activities, by combining rest of the factors of production. So we can say that all other factors of production they revolve around labor only. Land, labor, capital. these three cannot work without entrepreneur. This is very also important. So entrepreneur is basically no one but the producer. He is who? He is the producer. He is the one who combine. What producer does? Combine all factors to get work out of them. So we can say that entrepreneur is also a very important factor of production. Though it is a factor of production, we're going to read it in a chapter. But if statements comes to you that labor is also a special kind of entrepreneur is also a special kind of labor, so you should have certain important points. The important points are going to be that entrepreneur combine or handle or organize all these other factors of production. Without the presence of entrepreneur, the land, labor and capital cannot work, because they get the instructions from the entrepreneur only. So saying this, that entrepreneur is a special kind of labor is correct and is justified. Alright, so it is justified. So so we can altogether, what we can say is this, that if we just say that there is only one factor of production which is very important and rest are not important, then this is not correct. If I say just land is important and rest three factors of production are not important, this is going to be wrong. Same way if I say that no entrepreneur is important, rest are not important, this is also wrong. So basically all the factors are important. There are four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. These all four are important, but when we read chapter labor, we read specifically two statements and their justification. That is one, that labor is a special kind of labor is a special kind of factor of production, and second, that entrepreneur is a special kind of labor. And to justify them, you have certain points to say about this. So in your book, what is written is there, even though the organizer and the entrepreneur have been regarded as separate factor of production, yet in fact these are special type of workers who have some special abilities. So they are saying that entrepreneurs are the people who possess special activity, special skills. Okay? An organizer, for example, has ability to organize an industry, and that capability is acquired after having special kind of training. So अगर हम बोले कि entrepreneur के पास entrepreneur is an organizer also, because he's organizing, he's allocating all the resources and making plans how to use them. So this is also true. Entrepreneur is also like an ordinary labor. The only difference between him and the ordinary worker is that the former has to do a lot of mental work and has to implement his decision regarding planning, cooperation. ये सारे काम कौन करता है? Planning, cooperation, execution and motivation to achieve desired production targets, whereas the latter has to carry out only mental and physical work. So they are saying that entrepreneur के बहुत सारे काम होते हैं, entrepreneur के बहुत सारे काम होते हैं. Entrepreneur organizing करता है, ठीक है. Entrepreneur क्या कर रहा है? Planning करता है, एग्जीक्यूशन करता है, बहुत सारे काम करता है. लेकिन एक लेबर, एक सिंपल लेबर क्या करता है? एक सिंपल लेबर जस्ट गिविंग योर हिज फिजिकल और मेंटल वर्क फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक 8 to 12 hours. Rest of the time he is free. At least he is not planning for the future. But in the case of entrepreneur, the entrepreneur is working almost all day, planning for the next day, planning for the coming week, planning for everything. That's why a simple labor is also a labor, but entrepreneur is a special kind of labor. This is how we are going to justify our answer. So here in this chapter we have read up to this point, and the things we read were the definition of labor we have done, then we did the features of labor, very important features of labor, then we did the difference between land and labor. In your exams they may ask you about the difference. This is very important question. It's frequently asked in pre-board as well as your board examinations. So the difference between land and labor, and then you have labor as a special person or labor as a special factor of production. Yeah, of course, labor is a special factor of production. And then we read about entrepreneur as a special labor. Okay? Entrepreneur, there is a difference between an entrepreneur and a normal labor. Now I have told you, you know how you people are going to justify your answer, your statements. Alright, so this is going to be enough for today, and tomorrow we'll be moving with the next topic we'll be doing is labor and economic activity. Next topic will be labor and economic activity, and then the division of labor. Division or specialization of labor. Specialization or division of labor is a very important topic, and you definitely, you 100% always get a question out of it. So the next topic is going to be division of labor and types of division of labor. Alright children, till then take care of yourself, keep completing your notes. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, stay at home, stay healthy.